They say investing is a young person's game, but what if you're starting at 50? Most people think it's too late to build wealth, but that's completely wrong. Because when you combine experience, discipline, and the power of compounding, your 50s can actually be your strongest financial decade yet. Welcome back to Invest Education Hub, where we turn smart investing into simple decisions. Stay with us until the end. This might change the way you see your financial future.
This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions.
All right, let's just tackle this head on, right? Because this is the biggest mental hurdle for so many people. You know, you go online, you see stories about kids in their 20s planning to retire by 35, and it's easy to feel like you've just completely missed the boat. That feeling is real and it's powerful. And honestly, it stops way too many good people from even getting started.
But here's what we're going to prove to you today. Your 50s aren't a handicap. They're actually a different kind of advantage. Think about it. You've got life experience. You've got discipline. Your income is likely higher than it's ever been. You understand what it means to think long-term. These aren't small things. These are financial superpowers. So let's completely reframe this conversation right now.
So in this first section, we are going to systematically dismantle that too late myth, piece by piece. My goal here is to help you shift your mindset from a place of fear or regret to one of genuine empowerment and action. Because your strategy isn't late, it's just different. And different can be very, very powerful. I love the language on this slide because it gets to the heart of it. In your 20s, it's all about aggressive growth. You can take massive risks because you have like 40 years to recover from a mistake. But in your 50s, the game changes to controlled acceleration. Notice it doesn't say stop or slow down. It's about finding that sweet spot, that perfect balance between growing your money and protecting the nest egg you've worked so hard to build. You can't afford a catastrophic loss, but you definitely can't afford to just stand still either. And when we talk about time, let's be realistic. The average person in their 50s has a solid 25 to 35 years of investing ahead of them. That's not a small window. That is a massive runway for the magic of compound interest to do its thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and you are nowhere near the finish line.
And this is probably the most crucial point we'll make. Your biggest risk isn't a stock market dip. It's the slow, silent thief called inflation. Seriously, if your money is just parked in a savings account earning what, 1%, and inflation is chugging along at 3% or more, well, you are mathematically guaranteed to be losing buying power every single year. So investing at this stage, it's not just an option, it's a necessity. It's financial self-defense.
Okay, so now that we've hopefully got our mindset right, let's get down to business. Let's build a concrete, practical strategy. This next section is your roadmap. A clear, 5-step plan to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, with total confidence. And here they are, the 5 pillars of our strategy. Super simple, right? We're going to walk through each one. First, know where you stand. Second, protect yourself from life's curveballs. 3, use the best tools for the job. 4, pick the right investments. And finally, number 5, put the whole system on autopilot so it works for you. Step 1. First things first, you can't plan a road trip without knowing your starting location on the map, right? Same thing with your finances. This means we have to get brutally honest with the numbers. Pull out a piece of paper, open a spreadsheet, whatever works. Make 2 columns. On one side, list everything you own of value, your assets, every dollar in savings, your 401k, any real estate. On the other side, list every single thing you owe, your debts. This isn't about feeling good or bad, it's about gaining clarity. This is your financial GPS. Now, before we even think about investing for growth, we have to play defense. This is non-negotiable. Think of it this way. Paying off a credit card that's charging you 18% interest is the same as getting a guaranteed tax-free 18% return on your money. You will never ever beat that in the stock market. So that high-interest debt, it has to be your top priority. At the same time, you build up your emergency fund. This is your financial firewall. It's what keeps you from having to sell your investments at the absolute worst time if your car breaks down or you lose your job. All right, with that safety net firmly in place, now we get to go on offense. Now we invest. But we're going to be smart about it. We're going to use the special accounts the system has set up to give us the biggest possible advantage. Believe it or not, the government actually wants you to save for retirement, and they offer some incredible tax breaks to encourage you, especially if you're over 50. And let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in the entire toolbox, the Roth IRA. The concept is so simple but so profound. You put in money that you've already paid taxes on. That's the key. But then, every single dollar of growth, every dividend, every bit of appreciation, it all grows and can be taken out completely, 100% tax-free once you hit retirement age. This is a game changer. Now check this out, because this is where being over 50 is a literal advantage. Look at that top row, $7,500. People under 50 can't contribute that much. The IRS gives you what's called a catch-up contribution. It's a bonus just for being in your 50s. And if you're married, that's $7,500 each. That's $15,000 a year you can pour into a tax-free growth machine. Just keep an eye on those income limits, but for most people, this is an absolute must-do.
All right, so you've got the right account picked out. Now for the million-dollar question, right? What on earth do you actually buy inside of it? This is where that idea of controlled acceleration really comes to life. We're going to build a portfolio that's designed to grow steadily, but without taking any wild, reckless risks.
Okay, this slide gives us a fantastic blueprint for a balanced portfolio. Look at how every piece has a job. The biggest slice, your index funds, that's your engine. That's for long-term growth. Then you have bonds, which are like the shock absorbers on your car. They smooth out the ride when things get bumpy. Dividend stocks, they're there to provide a steady stream of cash flow. And then you have things like real estate and gold, which act as a hedge against inflation and just give you another layer of diversification. It's all about balance.
Let's zero in on that engine for a second. Index funds. If this term is new to you, please do not be intimidated. The concept is incredibly simple. Instead of trying to be a genius and pick the next Amazon, you just buy a single share of an ETF, something like VOO or SPY. And that one single purchase gives you a tiny piece of all 500 of the biggest, most successful companies in America. It is instant diversification, it's super low cost, and historically, it's been the most reliable way to capture the growth of the entire market.
Now, this is just as important as what to buy. Let's talk about what to avoid. This is not the time to throw your life savings into some weird crypto coin you heard about on Twitter, or a meme stock like GameStop. That's not investing, my friend. That's gambling. Our strategy is about reliable, steady, boring growth. And also be incredibly careful about high-fee mutual funds. A 1% fee sounds tiny, but over 20 years, it can literally consume hundreds of thousands of dollars of your hard-earned money. Stick to low-cost, simple options. Okay, we've covered the mindset. We've covered the step-by-step strategy. Now for the really fun part. Let's look at the results. Let's see what actually happens when you combine a solid plan with consistency over time. Because this is where the numbers start to get really, really motivating. Let's just use a hypothetical number here, but one that could be achievable. Let's imagine that after you get your finances organized, you find you can consistently put away $2,000 a month toward your investments. This could be a mix of your 401k, your Roth IRA, and maybe a regular brokerage account. So you take that $2,000 and you invest it every single month, like clockwork, rain or shine, for 20 years straight, from age 50 to age 70. And let's just assume you get a 10% average annual return, which is right around the historical average of the S&P 500. So what does all that disciplined, consistent effort turn into? $1.4 million. Just let that number sink in for a second. By starting at age 50 with a consistent plan, you can build a 7-figure nest egg for yourself. And here's the crazy part. The vast majority of that money isn't even the money you put in. It's the growth on your money. That is the incredible, unstoppable power of compounding, and believe me, it works just as well in your 50s and 60s as it does in your 20s. But okay, what does $1.4 million actually mean for your lifestyle? How do you turn that giant pile of money into an income you can actually live on? Well, this is where a really useful guideline called the 4% rule comes in. The idea is pretty simple. You can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio's value in your first year of retirement, and then you adjust that amount for inflation every year after. The strategy is designed to make sure you don't run out of money. So, let's do the math. What does that look like in real dollars? 4% of $1.4 million is $56,000. That's a passive income stream of $56,000 a year that you can generate from your investments for the rest of your life. And that's on top of any Social Security or pension you might have. This is how you turn your portfolio into a personal paycheck. And really, when you boil it all down, that's what this is about. It's not about being rich in the sense of having a private jet. It's about having choices. The choice to stop working when you want to, not when you have to. The choice to help your kids, to travel the world, to pursue a passion project, or to just live your life without constantly worrying about money. Building wealth after 50 is really about buying back your time and your freedom. Building wealth after 50 isn't about catching up.
It's about moving forward with clarity and confidence. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Start small, stay disciplined, and let time and strategy work in your favor. If this video helped you see that it's never too late to start, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this encouragement. Here at Invest Education Hub, we turn learning into lasting wealth, one smart decision at a time.